Hello, my lovely, lovely, wonderful, beautiful, handsome people. A pleasant evening to everybody. All right, so beauties, wonderful and handsomes. I was watching the news, not too long ago, just a few minutes ago, I saw something and I said, you know what? Let me vlog on it because, and it's not a beat and teach moment. We have this way of being very aggressive in dealing with everything. We come for beat and teach, but it's really to for the Ministry of Finance to hear the cries and to hear the heart of the people, because there seem to be a disconnect. There seems to be a disconnect for a little while now, and I'm fully aware that the new Minister of Finance is still newly minted in her role. With the advent of Dr. Nigel Clark, going on to a greener pasture. And let me look at what the RGR Gleaner or Radio News article says, and I'm quoting it verbatim. JCSA, which is the Jamaica Civil Service Association, says announced salary increase for public sector workers disingenuous. And this was today, 4:20 p.m. Let me read it. The article. The Jamaica Civil Service Association, JCSA, sorry, says Finance Minister Favour Williams's announcement that the movement of up to 3 increments in the salary scale for eligible public sector workers will amount to an increase in basic salary of approximately 7.5% for most persons this fiscal year is disingenuous. Minister Williams, in a statement on Monday, said the decision to allow movement up to 3 increments in this fiscal year was reached through discussions with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, that's the JCTU. Minister Williams contrasted the new arrangement with the system in place before reforms to public sector compensation in 2022. So remember, the Jamaica Civil Service Association has been in dialogue. It feels like it has almost been a diatribe in a sense, because it's like so it wasn't a friendly banter between the Jamaica Civil Service Association and the Ministry of Finance, and this inability to get the monies. That's what it tantamounts to, the inability to get the monies, that I guess would be put forward. And what she says, as the President Tisha Clark Griffith says, what we are entitled to, what belongs to us, basically, not quoting her verbatim, but basically as what she's saying. It says under the old system, only 1 increment was granted annually, and only if an employee scored 75% or more on the performance management and appraisal system. So some places may call it the PAR, when they do a review of you at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, biannually, however it is done based on the different ministries and departments. But JCSA President Tisha Clark Griffith says movement of up to 3 increments is not a gift. I did a vlog earlier when they talked about the whole 3 increments, and said that it would have been better they did 4, because the 3 really, it's it's nothing to write home about. Remember, a politician of this present government some years ago, long before COVID, had said anyone earning under $500,000 per month. He had quoted the yearly figure at the time, which was about 6 million and change. So when he worked it out, it would have amounted to about 500,000 monthly. He says they're barely scraping. That means most people are decomposed, if that is the case. And for me, they need to put a lot of things into place. Like, for example, if people are at SEG 2 and upwards, they really shouldn't be getting under 500,000 monthly, you know in the public sector service, or the Jamaica Civil Service Association. So, but JCSA President Tisha Clark Griffith says movement of up to 3 increments is not a gift. I agree with her, to be honest. I really and truly agree with her. What has happened? We should have moved every year by 1 increment. Absolutely. So it is something that we're entitled to from 2022. Remember, I said that's what she basically said. We are really entitled to it from 2022. And what the minister did not say is that we would have given up our retroactive payments. I didn't know that we had given up our retroactive payments, because I knew that that is what initially from day one I heard. That you have basically between 2022 to 2025, which Mrs. Clark Griffiths had stated on the news. See there? Yes. So we did not get any retroactive payment from 2022 to 2025 on the outstanding increment. I don't think that should be done. The Ministry of Finance needs to change that and ensure, give the people that increment that is due to them from 2022 to 2025. Do it. We are in an election year. Do it. We're in an election year. So we did not get any retroactive payment from 2022 to 2025 on the outstanding increment, because we considered country, and at the time we had Hurricane Beryl. We looked at both issues and we recognized that it would have been a significant financial cost to the government, and so we considered that too, she asserted. How I'm reading that, in other words, all right, because of Hurricane Beryl and this and whatnot may have happened, it's almost like she said, all right, we can put a hold. But now that we're basically settling in, and the restructuring compensation package is sort of settling in, because this has been ongoing, that we really should basically get it backhandedly. That is what it is really saying, or I should say subliminally, that is what it is saying. And so I'm reading it. The finance minister's announcement comes amid rumblings in the public sector following reports that the government's wage offer does not include increases in basic salaries for the 2025-2026 financial year, which began on April 1 and ends on March 31 of 2026, they said next year. Meanwhile, Mrs. Clark Griffiths explained that not all civil servants will benefit. Organizations that are new, for example, the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, that is a constitutionally new ministry. Those persons would not be qualified neither for increment movements until this year or for concessions. So we have lost some of our benefits, and persons who have been transitioned into new entities would not be so entitled. All right, so that's for new, yeah, okay. Therefore, there are persons in public service who will not benefit from none of the increments. As she mentioned, new, she gave a particular ministry that's new, or if you moved to new entities, for example. It needs, therefore, that between 2022 and, as a matter of fact, if you come in on the 2nd of April, you would not be entitled to three, because the circular says in your substantive post on an hour before April 1, 2022. Ministry of Finance, listen to me. Give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. Give it to them. In the grand scheme of things, it is not grandiose, because if that politician many years ago, or some years ago, had stated that anybody earning under 500,000 is scraping the increments and then increasing that basic salary, just give it to the people. There's a scripture that says, do not let your good, and I put that in quotation, be evil spoken of. So don't say, oh, it's fiscal management or spending or whatever it is. People don't really want to be educated on all of that. I went to a conference. They want to be heard. And when it says they want to be heard, that, a media personnel was interviewing people, and they said people don't want to see how educated you are. They want to be heard. Heard means whatever I say, I see action behind it in favor of us. Give the people the increments from 2022 to 25 and increase the basic salary across the board. I can understand the new entity that they mentioned, and if you move into a new entity. But for the old timers, please, we're just hitting the nail on the head right now. A word to the wise is sufficient unto the day. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lions.